What's up, YouTube? This is a special ASU Legends edition of Side Tripping with Carrie. I'm at right outside Desert Financial Arena, which is the basketball arena at ASU. Just watched ASU down the Stanford Cardinal in the last home game of the season. And today we're going to profile two Arizona State football legends in coaching, Coach Devine and Frank Kush. We're right outside Sun Devil Stadium, and here is a statue of the legendary Frank Kush. As you could see, Frank Kush was the head coach of the Arizona State football team from 1958 to 1979. He won 9 conference championships during that time, 2 with the old Border Conference, and we've got some video of those 2 Border Conference trophies that were in the trophy cabinet inside Desert Financial Arena. I don't know where the WAC championship trophies are. That's the Western Athletic Conference. There's 7 of them that Coach Kush won with the team, and I'm not exactly sure where those are. I imagine that they're here in the athletic department, which is right here. And we're right outside Sun Devil Stadium. And inside Sun Devil Stadium, let's see if I can get a view of the field. Inside the stadium, 1995, or I'm sorry, it might have been 96, the football field was named after Coach Kush. So the Sun Devils play their home games on Frank Kush Field. And you can see a little bit of it over there. Oops. So that green you see there is Frank Kush Field, where the Devils play on. So Frank Kush is, I mean, he was a legend. I grew up here. I went to football games with my dad when I was a youngster in the late 60s and early 70s. And Kush was a legend. I mean, an absolute legend. Back then, it was kind of weird what happened. I mean, it was dominant. ASU was really good in football. They were kicking butt in their conference. But the problem was, you know, the Western Athletic Conference wasn't and isn't a Power 5 conference. So, you know, they just weren't getting the credibility that you would expect from a team that good. And part of the reason why the Fiesta Bowl started was to kind of give ASU that shine. The first 3 Fiesta Bowls, the Devils played in it. I believe they won 2 of the 3, if not 3 of the 3. But again, Kush was instrumental in raising ASU's profile, and eventually the Sun Devils did join what was then called the Pac. It was the Pac-8, and with Arizona State and the University of Arizona joining, became the Pac-10. It's now the Pac-12. But because of ASU's football success, that was the reason why they were invited there in the first place. And again, Coach Kush was the reason for it. Was a big reason for it. We're gonna go next out to the final resting place of Coach Kush, and also the final resting place of his predecessor, who was a coach by the name of Dan Devine. And Dan Devine coached at ASU he was head coach for 2 years. Frank Kush was one of his assistants. And when Dan Devine left, Frank Kush became the head coach. Dan Devine went on to coach at the University of Missouri for a number of years. Then he was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers for a few years following Coach Lombardi, his untimely death. And then Dan Devine coached Notre Dame football, storied college football program. And he was actually the coach when Rudy was there. If you guys are fans of that movie, Rudy, Dan Devine was the actual head coach during that time, the time period of that movie. So we're gonna go out and go to St. Francis Catholic Cemetery in Phoenix and visit the final resting places of these two gentlemen. And just a side note, I actually met Coach Kush once back in, I think it was about the year 2000. I ran a 5K, believe it or not, in Tempe, and he was there, and he was handing out fruit at the end of the race. And I remember he thrust a banana at me and goes, "Have a banana." So that was my brush with the great Frank Kush. Before we leave, I just wanted to say a few words. Before we leave the ASU campus, just wanted to say a few words about Coach Kush's end here. I mean, he was the coach for 22 years and had a lot of success. Right toward the end, I believe it was 77, 78, ASU joined the Pac-12, and then there was this incident where Coach Kush had a disagreement with a punter on the team. Things got heated, and supposedly he slapped him upside the head, while the kid was wearing a helmet. Should he have done it? Probably not. But, this was a different time. I'm not excusing the behavior, but just honestly, I mean, the way things went down, ASU was embarrassed. They wound up letting Coach Kush go, and quite frankly, as a fan of the team, they have never achieved the level of sustained success that they achieved under Kush. And it took a while. But finally, I would say around the mid-90s or the early 90s, ASU kind of pulled their head out of their you-know-what and recognized the things that Coach Kush had done for the university, for the state, and for football fans, college football fans. And they kind of repaired that relationship. And Coach Kush came back to the program. And I remember as a kid thinking, God, this guy never smiled. I mean, he was very stern and taciturn. I mean, you never saw him smile. But as he got a little bit older, and they repaired that relationship at ASU. He came back. He lived here till the end of his days, and I think the school did good by him. I mean, they named the football field after him. He was, you could see kind of the joy in his eyes and the kind of joy come back to him. So I'm glad that happened. I really am. another part of St. Francis right now. We are headed over to the final resting place of Dan Devine. And Dan Devine's college coaching record was 173 wins, 56 losses, and 9 ties, believe it or not. During that time, though, 1977 at Notre Dame, he won his football team won the national championship. So that is a stellar accomplishment. He was at ASU for 2 years, from 55 to 57, and his assistant Frank Kush took over from there. He went to the University of Missouri. He was there for 12 years, from 58 to 70. Then he was at Green Bay for, I believe, 4 or 5 years, and then at Notre Dame from like 75 to 80. Here's the final resting place of Dan Devine and his wife Joanne. And after his college coaching career was over, he made a home of Phoenix area. And it's kind of a modest headstone, honestly, for such a accomplished coach. But that's the way it is sometimes. That's the way people want it. But anyways, hope you folks liked this episode of Side Tripping with Gary. If you did, please give me a like and consider following the channel. We'll see you on the next one.